this here. Hopefully everybody is staying home, staying safe, and again, keeping those social distancing. Just to give you a heads up, today in Sports 101, we're going to cover football, right, at a beginner level. And what we're going to start with is, guess what? This is a football. That might be funny for some of you, but in fact, in 1961, Green Bay Packer legendary coach Vince Lombardi told his players, gentlemen, this is a football. He took them back to basics, he took them back to the fundamentals, and that's where we need to start. We got to follow in his footsteps. The next aspect of the game of football is field dimensions. Now this is really intriguing because there are two different types of fields. One, which is the Canadian version. The Canadian version is 110 yards in length plus 20 yards on both sides per end zone, and it is 65 yards wide. Whereas the American version, the second type, is 100 yards in length plus 10 yards for the end zones and only 50 yards in width. Now, this is really important and intriguing. Hopefully, we have some kind of cross-curricular math problem that can come up sometime in the near future on our YouTube channel. Now, the next thing that's crucial and has to be an understanding of everybody out there is that there are three different units that make up a football team, right? There's an offense, there's a defense, and there's a special teams. Special teams is often forgotten. However, it's really key. That deals with any time that there's kicking involved. So it could be a punt, could be a place kick from the ground, could be a field goal from the ground, or it could be a drop kick that you would see in rugby. On the opposite side, one of the more important parts is offense. Offense is a team that scores points, right? They put the ball down and they're trying to score on the opposite defense. Defense on that side, also important. Sometimes they say defense wins championships. Defense is not letting the other team score. Now, three different units: offense, defense, and special teams. That makes up the units that comprise of the team. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is how the game starts. The game starts with a kickoff. Now, which one of those three units does it have to deal with? Offense, defense, or special teams? Special teams. If that's what you said, you are correct, right? It has to deal with the kicking part of the game, that is with special teams. Therefore, we got to kick. Okay, you're going to have the kicking team and you're going to have the receiving team. Now, this is a live ball in most Canadian and American versions. But if you're playing flag football like we do at Film and Right, typically it is the ball is downed if it gets touched by another team. Okay, if not, the receiving team catches in the air, takes it off the ground, and then tries to get as far as they can without being touched in phys ed class, a flag pulled in phys ed class, depending on which one you're playing, or you get tackled if you're actually playing community football or you're playing football for the school. Now that we have the kickoff, we have to have a different unit going on in the field, right? So the special teams comes off, and now if you're on one team, your offense is going to go on, and the other team's defense is going to go on, right? So now we're going to get onto the field. We're going to call a play, right? But then what? Well, we have to line up somewhere, and that's what's called the line of scrimmage. And this is very tough to understand because it is a floating line of scrimmage. It's invisible, but you can always see it by a field judge, which is marked on the side, right? Another good tip for it is that the ball, wherever the ball is, you draw a straight line. Now, the last thing we're going to cover today in Sports 101 is the understanding of the game. Now that we have the offense on, we have the defense on, we know where the line of scrimmage is, right? Now that we have a line, we have to understand, well, what are those people doing on the side that have like this 1, 2, they're flipping it back and forth, 3 and stuff? Well, that is the down marker. And what it is to understand the concept, it's like war, right? There's a trench. Right, that's the line of scrimmage. You're trying to get to 10 yards to earn a first down. Now you have 3 chances to do so in the Canadian version, and you have 4 chances to do so in the American version. All right, so understanding that your offense is trying to get to 10 yards, obviously without getting any penalties, and trying to do so before the defense stops you within those downs. Ultimately, what you're trying to do is you're trying to score more points than the other team. You're trying to get touchdowns. You're trying to earn field goals, which, again, we'll talk about at a future date. But what we did today for a recap is 1, we had an intro on who Vince Lombardi is and why it's important to go back to basics, right? 2, we talked about the 3 different units that make up a team. 3, we talked about field dimensions, right? And the difference between the American game and the Canadian game. 4, we talked about the start of the game and how it starts with a kickoff. 5, we talked about the line of scrimmage, that imaginary line, right, of where people line up. And the last thing that we talked about is going 10 yards to earn a first down, right? And again, 3 tries, which is downs in the Canadian version, and 4 tries and downs, which is the American version. But at the same time, if you score, you score. It can be first down, second down, third down, or fourth down. Thank you everyone for tuning in. That's all the time that we have for today, but we want to make sure that you stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, be kind to your parents, be kind to your siblings, subscribe at the bottom of the page so you don't miss out any of the action, and we'll see you here tomorrow, same time, same place throughout the day.